Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Valsa Williams and with me is Manoj Singh Rana with the Midday News. The headlines. Over 3 lakh COVID-19 patients recovering daily for the past several days. Recovery rate further improves to 82.75%. 3,29,000 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Centre provides over 18 crore free vaccine doses to states and union territories. More than 17 crore 27 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country. In Tamil Nadu, the 16th Legislative Assembly begins. Newly elected MLAs take oath. In Assam, first cabinet meeting of newly formed Himanta Biswa Sarma government to be held in Guwahati this evening. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists killed in an encounter at Vailu village in Kokarnag area of Anantnag district. National Technology Day being celebrated today, and in the U.S., California state expands drought emergency in 41 of 58 counties due to above average temperature and dry conditions. As the number of COVID cases is on the rise, we appeal to our listeners to take all precautions and all those above 18 years of age to get vaccinated without any hesitation. The vaccination for persons aged between 18 and 44 has begun at designated facilities. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Amid the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic, India is registering a declining trend in the number of active COVID-19 cases. The recovery rate is also continuously improving. However, several states and union territories are still registering a high number of cases. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry today said the active cases comprise 16.15% of the cumulative positive cases. It said there are over 37,15,000 active cases in the country at present. As the country is registering over 3 lakh recoveries daily over the past several days, the recovery rate has further improved to 82.75%. The Health Ministry has said over 3,56,000 patients have recovered from this infectious disease within 24 hours. So far, over 1 crore 90 lakh patients have already recovered from this disease. The country has registered over 3,29,000 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry has said a total of 3,876 deaths have been reported in the country within 24 hours, taking the toll to over 2,49,000 across the country.
The Union government has provided over 18 crore COVID vaccine doses free of cost to states and union territories so far. Of this, the total consumption of doses, including wastages, is over 17 crore 9 lakh. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has said that more than 90,31,000 vaccine doses are still available with states and union territories to be administered. The ministry has assured that more than 7,29,000 vaccine doses will be provided to states and union territories within the next 3 days. The Health Ministry has said vaccination is a crucial pillar in the fight against the coronavirus, and the third phase of COVID-19 vaccination has already started in the country. The ministry has informed that over 11,52,000 vaccine doses are available in Uttar Pradesh, the highest number in the country, followed by Gujarat, wherein over 8,32,000 doses are left to be administered to the beneficiaries. India has administered over 17 crore 27 lakh COVID vaccine doses to beneficiaries so far. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said that over 25 lakh vaccine doses were administered to the beneficiaries within 24 hours. As the third phase of the vaccination drive is gaining momentum in the country, people are coming forward for inoculation of vaccine jabs. The Health Ministry has said over 25,59,000 beneficiaries belonging to the age group of 18 to 44 years have received the first dose of vaccine so far. More than 5,24,000 beneficiaries of this age group received COVID vaccine jabs in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry has said more than 13 crore 21 lakh doses have already been administered to the beneficiaries aged above 45 years.
The government is continuously engaged in the allocation and supply of medical equipment and medicines received from various countries to states and union territories. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has said a total of 8,900 oxygen concentrators, over 5,000 oxygen cylinders, 18 oxygen generation plants, 5,698 ventilators and BiPAP, and more than 340,000 remdesivir vials have been dispatched to states and union territories so far. The Health Ministry said global aid has been delivered to states and union territories to strengthen and supplement their COVID response. The central government is ensuring a streamlined and fast delivery of the global aid through faster custom clearances. The National Human Rights Commission (NHRC) has called upon the centre and state governments to expeditiously implement its COVID-19 advisory regarding setting up of real-time COVID-19 medical dashboards. The Commission has asked the centre and the states to set up universally functional COVID-19 dashboards for real-time information in the public domain on the availability of hospital beds, oxygen, critical care medicines and devices. It has also asked for setting up 24/7 functional toll-free helplines and fixing the prices of COVID treatment resources. The NHRC has also recommended to the centre and states through its second COVID advisory that they need to take immediate action against those hoarding and black marketing essential medicines and oxygen cylinders. It asked them to ramp up the production, transportation and distribution of essential resources. The Commission has sought an action-taken report within 4 weeks on the recommendations contained in its Advisory 2.0, sent to the Union Health Secretary and the Chief Secretaries of all states and Union territories on the 4th of this month. The Commission has also recommended that a COVID-19 patient who approaches any public health facility should be given treatment free of cost. It has also asked for better management of crematoriums and burial grounds.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said that COVID cases are registering a declining trend in the city. Terming the lockdown a successful measure, he said there is no shortage of ICU and oxygen beds in Delhi. Addressing a press conference today, Mr. Kejriwal said around 1,25,000 beneficiaries are getting vaccine jabs in the national capital every day.
दिल्ली में वैक्सीनेशन पूरे जोर शोर से चालू हो गया है। लोगों में खूब उत्साह है। मैंने खुद देखा है दिल्ली सरकार के स्कूलों में जहां वैक्सीनेशन हो रहा है, मैं कई स्कूलों में गया, लोगों से बात की, लोग बहुत खुश हैं और अच्छे से अपना वैक्सीनेशन करवा रहे हैं। मैं अपने स्कूल स्टाफ और फ्रंटलाइन वर्कर्स का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं जो वैक्सीनेशन में लगे हुए हैं।
Expressing concern over the vaccine shortage in the country, Mr. Kejriwal said few days of vaccine stocks are left in Delhi. Mr. Kejriwal called for ramping up the production of vaccines by deploying various companies which have expertise in manufacturing vaccines. In Madhya Pradesh, the number of COVID cases is continuously decreasing. The state reported 9,715 fresh COVID cases and 81 deaths, while 7,324 patients recovered from the infection. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
The COVID growth rate in the state is 1.8% and the positivity rate declined to 15.8%. The number of active patients is 1,11,223. Indore reported 1,627 new cases, while Bhopal reported 1,498 infections. Free treatment is being provided to 26,224 patients in the state. Oxygen is being received daily as per the requirement in the state and is being made available to all the districts. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Bihar, the number of new COVID-19 cases continued to fall on the fourth consecutive day. 10,174 positive cases were reported in the last 24 hours, with 15,800 people recovering in the same time period. The number of fresh positive cases is decreasing in 25 districts out of 38 of the state, including Patna, Muzaffarpur, Gaya, Begusarai and West Champaran. The state reported 176 COVID fatalities. The recovery rate has risen to about 82%, while the test positivity rate has declined to 10.16%. Over 4,93,000 people have recovered. Meanwhile, 81,81,939 people have been vaccinated in the state so far. Over 1,52,000 beneficiaries belonging to the age group of 18 to 44 years have also been vaccinated. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has asked health department officials to ensure the vaccination of the maximum number of people in the age group of 18 to 44 years. Mr. Kumar also instructed them to identify the infected persons.
The first oxygen express to Karnataka arrived in Bengaluru this morning, carrying 120 tons of oxygen. The containers were sent from Tatanagar in Jamshedpur in Jharkhand yesterday. More from our correspondent.
A signal-free green corridor was created by the railways to enable shift transport of Oxygen Express. It travelled a distance of 1,833 kilometers with an average speed of over 55 kilometers per hour and took 29 hours and 35 minutes to reach Whitefield in Bengaluru. The Oxygen Express carried 6 cryogenic containers, each carrying 20 tons of liquid medical oxygen. The railways has built a ramp in Whitefield Satellite Goods Terminal for easy unloading of oxygen trucks. The arrival of oxygen has brought great relief to the COVID-19 patients in Karnataka. In another positive development today, the state government has decided to distribute free food to the poor across the state through Indira canteens during the 14 days long lockdown in the state. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In West Bengal, more than 1,21 lakh persons have been administered the COVID-19 vaccines till date. Out of 1,31,000 people vaccinated yesterday, over 7,000 health workers and frontline workers got the first jab, while the rest of them were given the second dose. The state government has assured the people that those who have got their first dose from the private hospitals can also avail the second dose from the nearby government hospitals. The state received over 7,45,000 doses of Covishield last evening, including over 3 lakh doses purchased from the manufacturer for use during the third phase of vaccination. Meanwhile, the state registered its highest single-day spike in COVID cases, with 19,445 new cases and 134 fatalities during the last 24 hours. At present, more than 70,000 people are in home isolation. The Mumbai Municipal Corporation has decided to float global tenders to procure COVID-19 vaccines after it was asked to explore the possibility of global procurement of vaccines by Mumbai Suburban Guardian Minister Aditya Thackeray. The Guardian Minister discussed the issue with Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, and the BMC has taken the initiative in this direction. A report.
Mumbai Suburban Guardian Minister Aditya Thackeray has said that the efforts to increase vaccination centers in Mumbai as well as in the state are continuously on, and BMC will have a center in every municipal ward along with a drive-in vaccination center across all zones of Mumbai. Aditya Thackeray formally requested this to Mumbai Mayor Kishori Pednekar and BMC Commissioner Iqbal Singh Chahal. According to Mumbai Mayor, the tenders for procurement of vaccines will be floated within 2 days. BMC is continuously working to increase the vaccination centers and has also decided to increase the number of drive-in vaccination centers, which are getting good response from the citizens. Shailesh Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Jharkhand, Chief Minister Hemant Soren has announced that the vaccination drive for people in the age group of 18 to 44 years will begin from May the 14th onwards. The vaccination for those aged 18 years and above will be free, and the cost will be borne by the state government. More from our correspondent.
The vaccination drive for 18 to 44 years age group could not be launched in the state from May 1st due to shortage of COVID vaccine. Presently, the state has a stock of 3.34 lakh doses of COVID vaccine to begin the vaccination drive for 18 to 44 years age people from May 14 onwards, free of cost. More than 1.57 crore people of the state population fall in this age bracket. In addition to the vaccination drive, Chief Minister Hemant Soren has also launched Birsa Jeevan Ayush kits under the Birsa Jeevan Ayush program to deliver Ayush and homeopathy medicines to people for primary medication. Shilpi, AIR News, Ranchi.
BJP's national president, Jagat Prakash Nadu, has alleged that the Congress leaders are misleading people and creating false panic among citizens to derive political mileage. In a letter written to Congress President Sonia Gandhi today, Mr. Nadu said, while India is fighting COVID-19 with utmost courage, the opposition party is engaged in creating confusion. He asserted that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, unlike many developed countries in the world, India has already started vaccinating its younger population, in addition to the frontline workers and elderly citizens. He said the Prime Minister is working closely with all chief ministers in this fight to defeat the pandemic. responding to the allegation of the Congress Working Committee that the Modi government has abdicated its responsibility on vaccination. Mr. Nadu said the topmost Congress leaders have themselves demanded for decentralization in the process of vaccination. He, however, said the centre still provides 50% of the vaccines completely free of cost to the states. Highlighting the free vaccination policy for everyone in the BJP-ruled states, Mr. Nadu also called upon the Congress to make similar announcements for Congress-ruled states. Responding to opposition's criticism of the Central Vista project, Mr. Nadu said that the project was initiated due to the demand raised by the Lok Sabha Speaker during the UPA rule.
In this corona pandemic era, self-confidence is most important for our survival. Bhajan singer Anup Jalota believes that by having self-confidence, we will surmount this challenge and can also help fellow human beings.
आप एक ये विश्वास रखें कि ये ठीक होगा. आप विश्वास रखें कि आप अपने को भी स्वस्थ रखेंगे और आपके परिवार को भी बीमार नहीं होने देंगे. ये संभव तभी है जब आप डबल मास्क का प्रयोग करें, हाथ धोते रहें, दूरी बना के रखें लोगों से. ये सब करने से लोग आपको जब देखेंगे तो कुछ सीखेंगे, वो भी ऐसा करेंगे. ये बीमारी ऐसी है जो नजदीक आने पे फैलती है. क्या हम कुछ दूरी नहीं कायम रख सकते? सबसे पहली जरूरत तो यही है. और उसके बाद अगर किसी को ये रोग हो जाता है तो उसके इलाज की व्यवस्था की जाए. ये बीमारी ऐसी नहीं है कि हर एक को हॉस्पिटल जाना पड़े. हॉस्पिटल तो उसे जाना पड़ेगा जिसको बहुत ज्यादा सांस लेने में कष्ट हो जाए, लेकिन जिसको थोड़ा बहुत कष्ट है वो तो घर में ही अपना इलाज कर सकता है. मैं एक कलाकार हूँ, गायक हूँ, तो मैं सब कलाकारों से ये कहना चाहूंगा कि अपना ध्यान रखें और जितनी भी मदद आप कर सकते हैं, जिन लोगों को आप जानते हैं उनकी करिए. कोई आपसे मदद मांगने आता है उसकी करिए. यथाशक्ति हर व्यक्ति मदद कर सकता है.
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Over 3 lakh COVID-19 patients recovering daily for the past several days. Recovery rate further improves to 82.75%. 3,29,000 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Centre provides over 18 crore free vaccine doses to states and union territories. More than 17 crore 27 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country. In Tamil Nadu, the 16th Legislative Assembly begins. Newly elected MLAs take oath. In Assam, first cabinet meeting of newly formed Himanta Biswa Sarma government to be held in Guwahati this evening. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists killed in an encounter in Bailu village in Kokarnag area of Anantnag district. National Technology Day being celebrated today. And in the US, California state expands drought emergency in 41 of 58 counties due to above average temperature and dry conditions. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे. Welcome back to the Midday News. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today had a telephonic conversation with the Prime Minister of Bhutan, Dr. Lotte Tshering. The Bhutan Prime Minister expressed solidarity with the government and the people of India in their efforts against the recent wave of COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanked the people and the government of Bhutan for their good wishes and support. He also appreciated the leadership of His Majesty the King in managing Bhutan's fight against the pandemic and extended his best wishes to Dr. Tshering for the continuing efforts. Both the leaders noted that the present situation has served to further highlight the special friendship between India and Bhutan, anchored in mutual understanding, shared cultural heritage and strong people-to-people links. The 16th Assembly session in Tamil Nadu began today. Pro-tem Speaker of the Assembly, K. Pichandi, administered the oath and affirmation to the members of the Legislative Assembly at the Kalaivanar Auditorium. The Tamil Nadu Assembly has a total strength of 234 MLAs.
The inaugural session is being held at Kalaivanar Arangam at the Omandurar government estate instead of the traditional Fort St. George to maintain social distancing and other COVID protocols. DMK member Appavu was nominated by the party for the Speaker's post and K. Pichandi was nominated for the post of Deputy Speaker. As there were no other nominations from other parties, Mr. Appavu will become the Speaker and Mr. K. Pichandi will become the Deputy Speaker. Mr. Appavu was elected from Radhapuram constituency and Mr. Pichandi from Kirpenatur. The DMK has formed the government for the sixth time in the state.
In Assam, the first cabinet meeting of the newly formed Himanta Biswa Sarma government will be held in Guwahati this evening. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma informed this to the media. The present COVID-19 situation is to be discussed broadly in the cabinet meeting. 5,803 positive cases were reported in the state during the last 24 hours. 77 persons succumbed to COVID during this period. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists were killed in an encounter between terrorist and security forces at Vailu village in Kokarnag area of South Kashmir's Anantnag district this morning. According to the police, the encounter broke out after a joint team of security forces launched a cordon and search operation based on a special input about the presence of terrorists in the village. As the joint team approached the suspected spot, the terrorists fired upon them. The security forces retaliated, resulting in the killing of 3 terrorists. The identity of the slain terrorist is being ascertained.
Today is National Technology Day. The day is celebrated every year on this day to highlight the achievements of engineers and scientists in the field of technology and science. Former Prime Minister late Atal Bihari Vajpayee coined this term to celebrate the contributions made by Indian scientists. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu greeted the scientists and technologists on National Technology Day. He said, "Science is the driver of all progress and it is important to inculcate scientific temper from a young age." Mr. Naidu hoped that the country's innovators will bring in greater happiness, comfort and prosperity in the lives of the people. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on National Technology Day the nation salutes the hard work and tenacity of the scientists and those passionate about technology. He said the countrymen remember with pride the 1998 Pokhran tests, which demonstrated India's scientific and technological prowess. The Prime Minister said in any challenging situation, our scientists and innovators have always risen to the occasion and worked to mitigate the challenge. He said over the last year they have worked industriously to fight COVID-19. Mr. Modi appreciated their spirit and remarkable zeal. Greeting all technocrats and scientists on National Technology Day, Home Minister Amit Shah said this day marks the anniversary of the 1998 Pokhran nuclear tests, which gave India a new strength and presence across the globe. He said the nation proudly remembers the remarkable achievements of our innovative minds. The Department of Economic Affairs and the New Development Bank will jointly organize a virtual seminar on the 13th of May on social infrastructure financing and use of digital technologies. The seminar will be organized as part of the Economic and Financial Cooperation Agenda under the Indian BRICS Chairship 2021. This seminar will engage high-level participants from both the public and private sector. It will focus on the key issues surrounding social infrastructure, financing, and the use of digital technologies in the 21st century.
The Enforcement Directorate ED has registered an FIR against the senior NCP leader and former Home Minister of Maharashtra, Anil Deshmukh, in a money laundering case today. This FIR was registered on the basis of the investigations by the CBI, in which the agency has found some connections of former minister with shell companies. The CBI had filed a case against Anil Deshmukh after the orders of the Bombay High Court. The former Mumbai Police Commissioner had alleged that Deshmukh had indulged in malpractices and pressurizing police officers, including the suspended officer Sachin Baze, to collect 100 crore rupees every month. Veteran communist leader and leader of Janadipatya Samrakshana Samiti, JSS, K.R. Gauri Amma passed away at a private hospital in Thiruvananthapuram this morning due to age-related ailments. The 102-year-old had many records to her credit. She was the longest-serving woman legislator in the Kerala Assembly, the oldest woman member in the Assembly, the oldest woman minister among others. A prominent CPIM leader of several decades, Gauri Amma, as she is popularly known in the state, was the president of Janadipatya Samrakshana Samiti, a rebel outfit she had formed in 1994 after her ouster from the CPIM.
California Governor Gavin Newsom issued an expanded drought emergency proclamation for 41 of the state's 58 counties, citing above-average temperatures and dry conditions for April and May. Newsom directed the state's water board to consider modifying requirements for reservoir releases and take other conservation measures. The declaration also gives the state flexibility in regulatory requirements to mitigate drought impact, which Newsom attributed in part to global climate change. The governor yesterday said they are working with local officials and other partners to protect public health and safety and the environment. Major opposition parties of the Nepalese parliament have started preparations to form a new government after Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli lost the vote of confidence in the lower house yesterday. Opposition leaders Sher Bahadur Deoba, Pushpakamal Dahal and Upendra Yadav called on President Vidya Devi Bhandari to initiate government formation procedure soon after the commencement of a special session of Parliament today. All leaders from the Nepalese Congress, the Communist Party of Nepal Maoist Centre and a faction of the Janata Samajwadi Party led by Yadav have urged President Bhandari to invoke Article 76(2) of the Constitution. Earlier, Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli lost the vote of confidence in the House of Representatives after Communist Party of Nepal withdrew support to the government last week. He secured only 93 votes in the lower house of Parliament during a special session convened on the directives of President Vidya Devi Bhandari. The Prime Minister required at least 136 votes in the 275-member House to win the confidence motion. Last week, the Communist Party of Nepal Maoist Centre withdrew support to the government, leaving it falling short of majority in the House.
India will be touring Sri Lanka in July and play 3 ODIs and 3 T20s. The Sri Lanka cricket has proposed an itinerary which was accepted by the BCCI. 3 ODIs will be played on 13th, 16th and 19th of July, and it will be followed by the T20 series running from July 22nd to 27th. The Indian team will arrive in Sri Lanka on July the 5th and will head back home on July the 28th. And now let us take a look at the weather today. The national capital Delhi is having a generally cloudy sky with light rain and drizzle. Maximum temperature will be around 39 degrees Celsius, minimum was 24. Mumbai has a partly cloudy sky and will see a maximum temperature of around 35 degrees Celsius, rising from minimum of 27 degrees. Kolkata is experiencing rain or thunder showers with strong gusty winds. Chennai is witnessing a partly cloudy sky. Srinagar is facing thunderstorm with rain. The temperature is hovering between 13 and 22 degrees Celsius. Jammu is having a thunderstorm with rain. Leh is witnessing a partly cloudy sky and the maximum temperature will be around 19 and the minimum 6 degrees. Gilgit is having a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover from 14 to 30 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the temperature will rise from a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius to a maximum of around 21 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Over 3 lakh COVID-19 patients recovering daily for the past several days. Recovery rate further improves to 82.75%. 3,29,000 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Centre provides over 18 crore free vaccine doses to states and union territories. More than 17 crore 27 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country. In Tamil Nadu, the 16th Legislative Assembly begins. Newly elected MLAs take oath. In Assam, first cabinet meeting of newly formed Himanta Biswa Sarma government to be held in Guwahati this evening. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists killed in an encounter at Vailu village in Kokarnag area of Anantnag district. National Technology Day being celebrated today. And in the U.S., California state expands drought emergency in 41 of 58 counties due to above average temperature and dry conditions. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.